At this very moment, I realized that my request for a CapEx spend 2025 apparently was not approved. Darren, I'm looking at you.
I don't have any control over any budget.
A crystal football, so we could look into our crystal football
there you go.
and forecast the future. So when it comes around to making predictions and the like, that we had a nice prop here.
What about like a magic 8-ball? Everyone's always using AI, Chat GPT. What about bringing back magic 8-balls?
Actually, probably accounting would tell me that's my budget is a magic 8-ball for yours truly. That's probably what they would tell me. You're right.
I will say this about a budget. I've worked here for almost 20 years and never once had a budget. They don't trust me with the budget.
So Paul,
I'm not
your
the one
email
to
was not even read.
So there you go. That's my mistake. I submitted the CapEx request to Darren, and he doesn't even have a budget.
I might get you a magic 8-ball, though.
Next time, maybe just send it to Craig Grelu. He might have some more power, might be able to pull some strings.
He does. He does have back channels. You're right. Craig does know how to play the game a little bit better. Dani, Sureck, Darren Urban, yours truly, Paulie Podcast. Speaking of playing the game, in the absence of information, what do you get? Speculation. So since we've yet to launch into Cardinals camp and the season, why not? Let's just go ahead and lob a few predictions out there when it comes to players, when it comes to what else, Darren? Games, stats, all the above.
I thought, hey, it would make some sense as we get ready for camp here. Let's all go around the table here and pick something having to do with a game, something that has to do with a player, and something that has to do with a statistic.
Okay.
Or somewhere in that. It's wide open, Paul.
Okay.
So use your imagination.
Okay, so should you bat leadoff since this sounds like it was your concept and you have a pretty comprehensive understanding here? Go ahead, bat
I can
leadoff.
do that. I'm gonna start with my player prediction.
Okay.
I know this is it's absolutely gonna be loved by the two of you. Michael Wilson will have 800 yards receiving this season.
Nice.
That is my prediction. I think he's heard all the conversations about why haven't they brought somebody else in to be that number 2 receiver? Because let's face it, when we talk about bringing in another receiver, that's basically the spot we're talking about is what Michael Wilson does. So I think he's worked very hard. Now, there's variables involved. They got to throw him the ball, and then he's got to make the play. But I think he's going to step up, and I think he's going to reach 800 yards. I think the most he had as a rookie was like 548, something like that, 550. Somewhere in there, and then he was a little bit lower last year. I think he'll get up to 800 yards.
So you're saying, does he need to go Keyshawn Johnson and put a book out, throw me the dang ball?
I thought this was interesting. I was talking to him about the subject, and he's like, the other day I was looking, and Trey McBride had like 140 targets last year-ish. I think Marvin Harrison was at 116.
Correct.
And then he goes, I was next at 75. And he goes, let's face it, the way we play offense, I don't anticipate the targets going way up, like the number of pass attempts. If things change, he said, I would think maybe Marvin gets to 140 and Trey is the 120. So I'm probably still going to be in the same ballpark. So I've got to make more hay with what comes my way, which is either catching the ball and then in his thought process, getting many more yards after the catch.
Because when you said 800 plus yards receiving, the first thing I thought of was yards per catch.
Yeah.
Because I just don't see him getting a ton of receptions.
He might not.
But, if he averaged 18 yards a catch, that would be enormous for this offense.
And again, we may be sitting here near the end of the season, and you may be laughing at me, Paul, for this.
Right.
I know you'll be laughing at me over. Dani definitely will be laughing at me over something else.
You bet your bottom dollar.
Yeah.
So that's my player prediction. I think Michael Wilson is going to have a pretty good season.
And he does have, I think, untapped potential for yards after the catch. He's a big dude.
Yeah, he is.
Marvin Harrison Jr. bulked up. If he's going to be breaking tackles and get off me, and the whole press man, Michael Wilson could be that guy.
We've talked about this on previous podcasts. The quarterback has to find a way to vibe with these receivers, getting it to them in stride.
All right, Dani, if you had to pick out a player, where would you go?
I went back and forth, offense or defense, and I landed on defense. And this is a hard exercise because usually we don't like to put numbers on players and what they have to hit.
It's July 15th.
For this exercise,
as
long as you're not asking me to hypothetically bet my paycheck on something.
Well, you hated that, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, that was like 7 years ago.
Here we go, Darren. Here we go.
Yeah, sorry.
Outside linebacker Josh Sweat, double-digit sacks.
Okay.
He's done that once in his career. That was 2022 when he had 11. It's coming off a year where he had 8. He has the ability to do so. He had his best years statistically when he was playing under Jonathan Gannon and Nick Rawlis when they were all in Philadelphia, and they are all now reunited in Arizona. Sweat has talked about part of the reason he had such success under them was the freedom he had. We've talked about how Gannon has used the expression of, here's the outline of the drawing. Pick what colors you want to use as long as you're staying within the lines. And Sweat has talked about even from the 3 practices he had here in Arizona at mandatory minicamp, he can already feel he is going to have a similar sense of freedom and allowing him to do what he does best. That is still going to be a position room that relies on rotation. You're going to see Sweat out there a lot more than you will see anyone else in that room, just given his talent, the money that you are giving him. So when you pair that with the bodies and the skill set that has been added in front of him on the defensive line and bolstering that when you have a healthy Darius Robinson, Walter Nolan III, Dalvin Tomlinson, Calais Campbell, the good things we have seen from Dante Stills and LJ Collier, I think that the floodgates are going to open a lot more and a lot more consistently to get some more sacks, and I think that Josh Sweat is going to lead the charge and have a double-digit sack year.
I like it. I'm feeling a little trepidation about my selection because I'm most definitely not taking out the 7-iron and just, playing it safe right down the fairway.
More than me?
I'm taking the driver out of the bag right now, Darren.
Okay.
I got my new carbon fiber, high strength titanium alloy, with the AI club face design. I got it. Boom. I'm gripping and ripping right here, and I'm going with Owen Papo.
Owen Papo.
What about him?
The forgotten man.
He is the forgotten man.
Round 5 pick a couple years ago.
Inside linebacker.
Former 5-star recruit, by the way.
The freak.
Max Prep All-American. Has run still the second fastest 40 for a linebacker in combine history at 4.39. And he did get a number of starts at the end of last year.
True.
I can't say he made any splash plays. He did have a forced fumble along the way. But what if they harnessed all that athleticism and maybe, just maybe, he's ready to be out there next to Mack Wilson Sr.? They conspicuous by the lack of a signing, A, of Kaiser White, B, of a big-time, big-money free agent at the position. Yes, they went after Akeem Davis-Gaither. Yes, Michael Walker. Yes, Cody Simon. I get it. They flooded the position with numbers, and they're going to see who emerges. But I wonder if Owen Papo, with 2 years in the system, has a leg up on the other guys between the football IQ and the mastery of the playbook and now the athleticism.
So you're not saying, you're just saying more playing time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I like that.
That's a fascinating thought because you're right. I love the fact that you're calling him the forgotten man because he really is.
He is.
Every time that subject comes up, nobody talks about it.
The only thing that's questionable is not even his play per se, but what we've talked about in recent episodes of the numbers game. If you have all of these players on the defensive line specifically that you want to maybe go from having 6 that they did on the roster last year to 7, you've got to take a body out from another position room in some sense. So that would be the only thing kind of, I don't know if working against him is the right phrase to use, but something that he is going to have to combat.
Well, I would say to that, though, if he is the kind of player that Paul is talking about, then he's not the one who has to be worried about the numbers. It's somebody like Michael Walker or even Akeem Davis-Gaither.
Yep.
Fair, yeah, because Papo has made the roster the last couple of years.
And you know what? I would draw a potential parallel to Mack Wilson Sr. and Akeem Davis-Gaither.
Yeah.
In their last year with their former team, what happened? They were special team standouts. And then they got a number of games at the inside linebacker position, and they really excelled and put up some big numbers. It's the reason Monty Ossenford went ahead and signed Mack Wilson Sr. It's the reason he went after Akeem Davis-Gaither. I wonder if Owen Papo could be in a similar career arc where, you know what, he was on all the special teams last year, and now all of a sudden he has a command of the position. And in year 3, some guys take a little longer than others. And so anyway.
You understood
We'll
the
see.
assignment, Paul.
We'll see. Okay.
That's a good call.
Okay. Well, there's still time for me to screw it up. So let's get in now. The game part of this. We're supposed to pick out a game on the schedule and identify what exactly.
Whatever you want. And in fact,
Okay.
right. I'm hoping you prep for that and you're not just asking for fun.
No, I got one in mind.
But I will say this, I have more than one.
Ooh. Okay.
But it's a combo comment. So hopefully I'm not stepping too much on what you guys might do. But my game related prediction is that this team is going to come out of the bye, which has not been a good time. They go after the bye, they go at Dallas, at Seattle, home against the 49ers. I'm saying they're going to go 3-0 in those games.
Hello. Wow.
I think they always play really well in Dallas, and I'm not a believer in what Dallas is doing right now. I think they're better than the Seahawks, right? And I think they are anxious to finally get a win against the Seahawks now that Geno Smith is gone.
Can't wait to see Calais in Seattle again.
And I think by then they have some momentum at home going against the 49ers, which I think the 49ers are still going to be a pretty good team. But that is my thought. I think this time around they're going to come out of the bye and they're going to do some. Now again, the bye is way earlier than it's been.
Yep.
So it's more mid-season, and they've been okay in mid-season, I guess you could kind of say. But like that's my Nostradamus-y thing.
Okay, that's a good one.
I
took a bit of a different approach.
Which is what this is about.
Which is right after your game, San Francisco, Week 11, Week 12, home against Jacksonville. I don't think Travis Hunter is going to be a two-way player at that point. I think by that point, rookie year, he's going to have settled one side of the ball. Now, maybe a few snaps, but even a few snaps to me, I think is generous from what we could see. I mean, when I say a few, I mean like, let's say he's the wide receiver, right? Because that's supposedly where he was going to be starting, right? That was going to be the main focus. Like, no more than 5 snaps at cornerback. Not going to be a two-way player. I think the difference of college to the pros and the amount of knowledge he's going to have to be able to withstand and the nuances of being a receiver and what you're looking for in the defender, and then vice versa, going up against the best of the best in the NFL. Physically, his body being able to play that many snaps in a game and stay healthy. Week 12, I think Travis Hunter is a one-way player.
Okay, so I want you to level up.
Oh, boy.
On this prediction. Obviously, you don't know for sure, but you're saying he's going to be on one side of the ball. So pick a side of the ball he's going to be on, and then what is the matchup with the Cardinal that he's going to have that day? What's your prediction?
Just because it's been said wide receiver, I'll go with wide receiver.
That's what I would do. So who do you think gets that job? Now, again, the way they play defense, he could see 5 different Cardinal defensive
Who would
backs.
I really like to see?
Yes.
Garrett Williams.
Okay.
I think it could be Will Johnson if Hunter is lined up outside.
I think that's fascinating.
So Brian Thomas Jr. and then Travis Hunter. I mean, those are two really good young receivers.
Yeah, they are.
Jacksonville's sort of that sleeper. All right, what's interesting is I'm sort of falling in line with you guys. If this was a game of poker, we might have a straight.
Ooh.
I don't know what that means.
And I'll just say
it's a good hand, Dani.
I went into Chat GPT, and it says here Sunday night football games are eligible for flexing any week from weeks 11 through 17. Monday night football games, anytime you can be flexed, weeks 12 through 17.
Okay.
Week 13, there's your straight.
Okay.
Cardinals at Tampa will be flexed into prime time.
Okay.
Why Tampa?
Kyler against Baker.
Okay.
And 2 NFC division leaders at that point.
Whoa.
Okay. This podcast is coming together quite well, I have to say.
I think that'll be a titanic matchup. Week 13, Cardinals and Tampa asserting dominance in the NFC. And they just love the subplot of the 2 Oklahoma Heisman-winning quarterbacks going against each other.
I'm sorry. Did you say Sunday night or did you say prime time? So it could be
either one.
It
could be eligible for Sunday night or Monday night. Could be flexed in.
I like that because week 14, that's a little too early if it's a tight race between the Cardinals and the Rams for any sort of playoff push and securing something. like winning the division. And then if you can't flex week 18, that's the next time the Cardinals play the Rams. And in between them, Houston, that's kind of a question mark at this point. Atlanta, probably not. And Cincinnati. So I like choosing Tampa, Paul.
I like how that category came together. There were some very interesting thoughts on that. Okay.
I mean, we already talked about early in the year anyway. Like at New Orleans, the season opener, Paulie prop bet, I have 5.5 number of sacks of the Saints quarterback. And then my prediction for week 4, I've already made known. I expect Jalen Milroe will be the starting quarterback for Seattle coming to Thursday night.
What?
At the
Sorry,
Cardinals.
Drew Lock.
Did I miss something? When did you predict
Sam
this?
Darnold will be broken in half behind that janky O-line of Seattle. And there's a reason Mike McDonald came out during the minicamp OTA session and was so adamant that the notion of Sam Darnold not being the starting quarterback was, quote, crazy. I think he's trying to snuff out a faction in his own locker room that looks at the ridiculous athleticism, the 99 athleticism score of Jalen Milroe. And there are already guys in his own locker room wondering, wait a minute, coach, are you sure this isn't Russell Wilson beating out Matt Flynn? Are you sure Jalen Milroe isn't better equipped to lead this team than Sam Darnold?
Wow.
We'll see.
I can't say Paulie
We'll see.
conspiracy theory yet because that did happen once upon a time. But
yeah. Okay. Last category that we need a prediction for, Darren, was
statistic.
A stat.
A stat.
Okay. All right.
I thought we don't do math on this show.
Well, yeah, we did waive
Although
that rule.
we were talking about statistics and math could be different things. I mean, I'm doing basic addition here.
As long as I don't have to calculate it.
You won't.
I'll cite it.
I did all the calculation
Okay.
for my own.
It's good.
So last season, as we've talked about more than we would have liked, the Cardinals ended up with 43 explosive pass plays of 20 yards or more.
Okay.
I am going to say that the Cardinals will increase that by 20 this year. So they will have at least 63 explosive pass plays. So essentially one more per game on average.
Feasible,
that
doable.
is my prediction for my statistic. I think, as we said in a previous podcast, Paul, there's the idea of maybe using 2 good running backs in the backfield that could open some things up with matchups. I've already talked about how I think they might be able to use Michael Wilson a little bit more. I do think there's going to be some plays down the field for Marvin Harrison that are successful that weren't previously that will gain some yards. And I just think generally, I think they're going to figure some things out with some of this extra motion and getting guys moving around. I think they will be in a better place to do it. And again, I'm not going outside the box. I'm not saying they're going to have 80 explosive pass plays and double up their number. But one more game seems doable, especially when they were relatively low in the first place. So that is what I think. You're going to need Kyler Murray to play at a high level, and they're going to need to hit what was talked about at the end of the of minicamp when they were talking about the off-schedule plays. They have some options there, and it always makes me kind of raise an eyebrow because to me, when you have Kyler Murray and when you're talking about a defense that's having to run around and cover for more than the pass rush, that should be a heavy advantage for this team. And I don't feel like it has been, and it really needs to be.
Yeah, that's a great point. You're right. They need to leverage that a lot more. Hence why Drew Petzing has spoken openly about, being more effective when Kyler's on the move, out of the pocket, especially when he's flushed out of the pocket, organic. I do know that the Cardinals ended up in the bottom third of the league last year in explosive pass plays. If they end up with 63 instead of 43, do you know where that puts them in the NFL rankings?
I didn't look, I'll be honest.
Okay, just curious.
Because I wasn't looking at a league ranking. I literally went in and counted up their explosive
Because
plays.
with James Conner among the league leaders all year long in broken tackles, the Cardinals were top 5 in explosive run plays.
Yes.
So if you can add the pass plays, look out.
Well, and again, as I said earlier on Michael Wilson, when he said the receivers have to get better with yards after the catch.
Yep.
I mean, not everybody's going to be James Conner, but man, follow the lead.
Rump. Okay.
Third down conversions. I'm talking a little offense and a little defense. Offensively, last season, the Cardinals were good third downs. 193 attempts, they converted 83 of those. That's a 43% success rate, which was 8th best in the league, despite the fact that 193 was the 3rd fewest attempts in the league. Where they struggled was when it was 10 or more yards. So when it was 10 or more yards, the Cardinals were 5 of 44, 23% success rate. Those 44 attempts, the 2nd fewest. My prediction is the Cardinals are going to jump into top 5 in 3rd down conversion. So move up 3 spots. They need to be better in long situations so they're not finding themselves there. They have the pieces. Trey McBride was top notch on 3rd downs. He had 27 targets, 20 of those receptions, 14 of those for 1st down. And Kyler Murray was the main player running whenever they ran the ball on 3rd down. 22 attempts, 12 of those for a 1st down. So, and Amari DiMercato also was used in those situations. So that's my prediction. You move from 8th best 3rd down conversions, top 5, given the pieces and the consistency there. Do you want to chime in before I move to defense?
Yes, I just want to jump in. My first thought when you said all that was they had so many 3rd down attempts at 10 or more yards. I mean, that's where they can fix your thing if they make sure that they're not – you can't be in 3rd and long. Not like that. That's tough. And they still finished top 10. That's crazy to me.
That is remarkable. I did not know that.
I did not know that either. Thanks for bringing the knowledge there,
Yes.
Dani.
And then on defense, my prediction is the Cardinals are going to jump from 28th in the league on defending 3rd down conversions and get into the top half. Last season, Cardinals their conversion rate allowed was 43.8% with the 20th best run defense. That's where they were ranked. Now, they have really bolstered the box. Like, they have really focused on that defensive line, which is going to strengthen the run defense and in turn, obviously, 3rd down conversions, force your opponents to be in 3rd and long situations. And when they've been focusing on developing in the secondary, all the reasons we've talked about the defense improving this year, that's all obviously going to come into play. Last year, the Cardinals really struggled when it was 3rd and 1 they were defending. That was a 78.3% conversion rate allowed. 3rd and 9 was 50%.
Oof.
So in between 2 and 8 yards to go, it was much, much lower than that, but that is where they really struggled the most. So goals offensively, you go from 8th to 5th or better 3rd down conversions, and then defense go from 28th to anywhere around 16.
You know what is not a recipe for winning? Having an offense that's in 3rd and 10 or longer a lot of the time, and having a defense that gives up 1st downs on 3rd and 9 or longer. Jeez,
Yeah. Well, the completion percentage was among the worst in the league in terms of allowed by the defense. And to Dani's point, if you can affect the quarterback a lot better, get to the quarterback, hit, harass, and speed up the quarterback, guess what? The completion percentage is going to plummet.
I will say I feel like what we're doing here is like we're not doing crazy things. We're making realistic predictions that these things can happen.
And special thanks to Craig Grelu and Mike Hellman, Media Relations, for helping me with the numbers.
Wizard.
Darren, that is until I came along with my stat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's your stat, Paul?
I've said in the past that my attempt to come for the arm, stay for the legs, to get traction was akin to Fetch and Mean Girls. Never really got any traction.
Stop trying to make Fetch happen.
Thank you. But I'm going to come back to it because I'm resilient, if nothing else, if not stupid. I'm coming back to, because it's already happened, and I may have mentioned this about a month earlier, but I'm dead set on Kyler running the ball more. And in 2020, a Pro Bowl season, he ran it a career high 133 times for a career high 819 rushing yards. But here's the best part. Wait for it. 11 rushing touchdowns, which I totally forgot about. 11 rushing touchdowns? You talk about keeping a defense honest.
Those play action keepers would just.
So you can't tell me that isn't what defensive coordinators really fear. Is the Cardinals flood the end zone with weapons, and then Kyler just runs for the pylon and makes your defense look stupid.
I will say, before you get to your stat, Paul, that I think one of the reasons James Conner ended up with 18 touchdowns in 2021 was because after 2020, all the defenses gave a crap about is watching where Kyler was going. And so when you just did a dive play to Conner, it was always going to be open.
Good point. And you know what? And we do see this on third down as well, that teams will definitely put a spy on number one.
I would.
Look, it may not be 11 rushing touchdowns. You're not going to get a 50-yard touchdown run like you did against the 49ers in Santa Clara a year ago like that very often. But I am looking for him to get near, if not eclipse, his career high in rushing yards, just based on the fact that he's been so open and talking about it. It sounds like to me, complete speculation, he sat around and watched the AFC playoffs and said, wait a minute, look what Lamar Jackson's doing. Look what Josh Allen is doing with their legs. I can do that. Why aren't I doing more of that?
What was his total in 2020 for yards? Was it 8?
It was 819.
819, that's what it was.
Now, he did set a career high last year in yards per carry, 7.3 yards per carry. First time he's been over 7 yards a carry. So now you take the fact he's still in his prime at age 28, still has the athleticism, but he has the knowledge of 6 NFL seasons and the decision-making to know when and how and where to run the ball. So you would think he's even more equipped than ever to be able to be successful in running the ball. So
the only thing that always makes me pause with Kyler is his need and desire to get down if they're a runner. Because again, when you're talking about gaining large amounts of yards rushing in a season, there's got to be some willingness to get the extra 2, 3, 4 yards when there's guys coming.
And by the way, I've heard this said that a lot of teams these days in the NFL are teaching these quarterbacks to slide head first, to go head for, like when you got to get down, don't slide feet first, baseball style. Get down, throw your body down head first, because when you're sliding, you're just leaving your upper torso exposed to getting clean.
That's something this coaching staff changed with Murray. That and the footwork, his leading foot when he was in shotgun, but also how he was sliding.
Yeah. So, although I'll be honest with you, in hindsight, while Dani was talking, I said, the stat I should have picked? Interceptions by the Cardinals defense overall.
Wait a second. While Dani was talking.
Yes. I'm like, are you talking about the pass rush?
It was one in one ear out the other?
No.
Weren't even paying attention?
You were making such a good point about the pass rush.
Okay.
I'm thinking, you know what? One leads to the other.
I did think about doing interceptions too because of what we're talking about with the pass rush, but
they could ramp up the interception total this year by a lot.
I'm feeling fairly confident. I will say this, not directly in opposition, but I feel fairly confident that the combo of Michael Wilson 800 receiving yards and Kyler Murray 820 rushing yards is not possible. Like it would be one or the other if either happened. That is my guess.
And Marvin Harrison, 1,000 yards receiving.
Well, Marvin Harrison's going to have 1,972
What about
yards.
Trey McBride?
And Trey McBride,
like 1,024.
And is James Conner having 3 straight 1,000-yard rushing seasons?
Well, of course. And there's 2 RB1s, so then Trey Benson's going to run for 1,000.
That's
so
amazing.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing.
That did get brought up in a press conference at the end of the offseason. I did, where we're talking, when somebody was bringing up, one of the reporters was bringing up all the unbelievable statistics that are going to come up.
Well, with the revamped defense, they're going to win the time of possession game 40-20 every single game. And, the opposing offense is going to go 3 and out every possession. So the Cardinals are going to own the ball.
I will say about a month ago, I was on a podcast with Dani's favorite Hawk blogger.
Blogger? Is that German? What is that?
No, like he covers the Seahawks. Okay. And he said a couple things to our group when we were at the combine.
Oh, I was like, who are we talking about? I was the least bothered of everyone.
But his last question to me was, okay, he goes, we get to the end of the season and we're going into the playoffs, or like the last game, whatever he was saying. I can't remember if it was the last time they played the Seahawks or the last game of the year, whatever it was, but he goes, the Cardinals are going into the playoffs with 13 wins. What things had to happen? And I'm just thinking to myself, okay, if this team wins 13 games, a lot of good things have happened. I don't know if all of the things we just predicted are going to happen.
Well, why not?
Because I know this, if the Cardinals win 13 games and we go over for all these predictions, I'm sure everybody would take that.
I'd gladly own that, yeah. But to answer that question, 13 wins means they swept the Seahawks. That's what they mean.
Paul, this episode is our last one before training camp, and I am surprised, and I'll be honest, a bit disappointed that we have gone an entire offseason without hearing about your 15 breakout players of training camp.
Yeah.
He'll hit those with a first training camp.
I sure hope
early
so.
enough because we have those 5 days without pads, so he still has time to break that out.
Well, wait a minute. Who did I have last year? I had Xavier Weaver. That's a ding. And I had one on defense.
You had legit 10 players, and you promised that like 7 of them were going to like make the team. Okay. And they were like all draft picks.
I made the mistake of thinking out loud and coming to my final 2. And maybe why I've been so silent to date is because I've been taken to task and or the woodshed for thinking out loud and trying to mull through the potential candidates.
I'm excited to hear what your final list
Remember,
includes.
Dani, in this department, we can throw all the ideas against the wall. No idea is a bad idea.
I will say this, and you guys haven't realized this yet, but I was a little ahead of my time, a little bit with the marketing mantra last year, a 2023 dip for a 2024 rip. And, I was just a year early. I was a little premature on that. So maybe I'm a little tentative this year.
So is it 2023 dip for a 2025 rip, or is it...
I haven't settled on that yet either.
I'm sorry, you're
Dani.
thinking out loud again.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
It's
he's got a week before training camp. Give him some time.
There's a roundtable, Calvisi Consulting. I'm going to get my top minds around this, and then we'll come up and we'll have some answers next time we convene on Cardinals Underground, presented by Pacific Office Automation.